Good evening and welcome to the briefing room. I'm Madhavdas G. Ladies and gentlemen, as far as the protests are concerned that are taking place, on the one hand, you have the CJP protests that are taking place, which are continuing. And on the other hand, you have the opposition that is also mounting pressure on the government. On such a day, an assurance has come into the students from the very top, in a massive, unyielding message to millions of students across the nation. Prime Minister Modi has declared an absolute zero-tolerance policy against the exam paper leak mafia. The Prime Minister has vowed that no one who plays with the future of India's youth will be spared. In his message to students, he said that their future is the government's top priority. The Prime Minister has promised fast-track courts for paper leak cases with swift and strict punishment for those found guilty. Prime Minister Modi has further directed authorities that culprits, of course, paper leak culprits will be punished. Let's further go on. About those who are responsible, authorities have been told to take necessary steps and said no one playing with the future of the youth will be spared. The government's message is clear: zero tolerance against paper leak mafia and justice for students will be ensured. All of this comes amidst growing anger among students over paper leaks and demands for strict action against those who are responsible. Now, the Prime Minister's message emphasizes how the government does realize that youth welfare is its highest priority. The message also highlights that their commitment to the crackdown and even displays that there is a focus on swift and decisive action against all those who are involved in exam malpractice. This message also shows that the government is preparing a roadmap for long-term solutions and not just a band-aid. This also, of course, highlights what really is going on, and it doesn't end there. The government is now planning to put this assurance into action. Here's what top sources are telling Times Now as far as the governmental action is concerned. The centre is going to give directive to states and high courts, is what we are told. This is what sources are indicating. There will be fast-track courts to be established. Day-to-day hearings are going to be planned, and the focus is on faster justice for aspirants. 4 cases are currently registered, and fast-track courts in 4 high court jurisdictions are going to be established. Now, this includes the establishments of Bombay, Calcutta, Madhya Pradesh and Delhi high courts on priority, is what sources are indicating. But are the protesters convinced? The government has also put forth multiple proposals before the CJP for dialogue and to end this particular protest. But it appears that the CJP is in no mood to entertain the government's proposal at the moment. Here's where things stand. The government says that there are 4 formal proposals in the last 24 hours. CJP has come out to refuse those talks, and of course they have come out to say that as their conditions include sacking Pradhan first. The government has said there is an invitation to students for discussion. CJP says meet at Jantar Mantar or a neutral location. The government says we're appealing to you, come and discuss. CJP says no fake promises, want something concrete. Let's also remind you how the government in the last 24 hours has attempted to engage with the CJP and why the dialogues have not progressed so far. What really is the sticking point? You have, of course, on the one hand, the zero-tolerance policy and the proposals that have been given, and, of course, the contrast that is there on both the sides. On one hand, you have the opposition that has also mounted pressure on the government. While some would say that these protests are out of genuine concern for students, others suspect whether opposition parties are trying to hijack the students' protest for political gain. With that being said, leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi today led a protest march towards the Gandhi Smriti in support of students. While it's a fact that Rahul Gandhi has been holding these rallies with students over the paper leak issue, the Congress has left no opportunity in presenting themselves as the crusader of the students' case. Meanwhile, let's listen into what has been stated.
This is a standing invitation to all our youth friends. आप किसी समय भी कभी भी चर्चा करना चाहे, आपकी सुविधा अनुसार हम चर्चा के लिए तैयार हैं।
हमने उनको कहा था पिछली बार, आपने हमको 5 घंटे बिठा कर रखा, 5 घंटे में से बस 10 मिनट ही बात करिए। ऐसा कौन करता है? पूरा टाइम वेस्ट करता है। एक तरफ बात करने के लिए बुलाया था, दूसरी तरफ बच्चों के ऊपर लाठीचार्ज करा था।
जहां भी आप कहें, चाहे आप रेजिडेंस पर कहें नड्डा जी की, तो वहां भी चर्चा हो सकती है। अगर आप कहें ऑफिस में, तो ऑफिस में भी हो सकती है।
जंतर मंतर पे वो लोग बहुत डर रहे आने से, तो हमने बोला चलिए ठीक है, कोई नहीं, आप कोई ऐसी जगह सजेस्ट कर दो जहां ना आपका घर हो ना जंतर मंतर हो, कोई बीच की जगह सजेस्ट कर दो।
मैं एक बार पुनः बड़ी विनम्रता से आपसे अपील करता हूं कि आइए, बैठिए, चर्चा कीजिए।
तो आप हमारा फालतू का टाइम बर्बाद नहीं कर सकते। आप अगर हमसे मीटिंग कर रहे हो तो हमें कुछ ना कुछ कॉन्क्रीट चाहिए।
We've been raising this issue not for weeks or months, we've been raising it for years.
पेपर लीक हो रहे हैं, ये अन्याय है, जग जाओ।
हिंदुस्तान में पेपर लीक हो रहे हैं, उसको नरेंद्र मोदी रोक नहीं पा रहे हैं या रोकना नहीं चाहते। It's clear that there is a systemic problem. It is clear that there is huge amount of corruption.
NEET is a commercial exam. पूरे के पूरे एग्जाम को आपने सेंट्रलाइज किया। वो आपको दबाया जाता है, आपके खिलाफ पेपर लीक किया जाता है। मैं चाहता हूँ no student in this country ever feels the desire to kill themselves. 7.5 करोड़ स्टूडेंट्स को पेपर लीक ने डैमेज किया है।
Prime Minister Modi is the most anti-youth Prime Minister India has ever had.
Meanwhile, the opposition continues to demand for a discussion in Parliament over the issue, but with a catch. While the government says that they are ready for a debate, the opposition says that they will not debate in Parliament until they see the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan.
मेरे से पूछ रहे हो कि सदन क्यों नहीं चल रहे हैं? और ये जो मंत्री आ रहे हैं जा रहे हैं, इनसे पूछो इस्तीफा कब देंगे। आपने पूछा है? मैं जानना चाहती हूँ, आपने पूछा धर्मेंद्र जी से कि वो इस्तीफा कब देंगे? नहीं, आप बता दो, पूछा है कि नहीं?
If the government is not sensitive or not reacting, I can understand the opposition going on a tirade like this. At the level of the Prime Minister, a response has been given. In fact, much before today's announcement of setting up fast-track courts and assuring the punishments will be handed over to those people who violated the sacredness of an exam by leaking the papers, by buying papers, by selling papers.
Meanwhile, many celebrities have also come out to back the students' protest in large numbers. Salman Khan has appealed for protests to not be hijacked politically. And he says he appreciates the students' stand. Alia Bhatt, Huma Qureshi, R. Madhavan have also come out in support of the students and highlight the importance of the role of the youth in India's future. Cricketer Shikhar Dhawan has also commented on the ongoing protest and says it's crucial for the country to understand and help them realize their dreams. Meanwhile, actor Salman Khan has now put out a fresh post on social media platform X, where he's appealing to students to end their protest following the Prime Minister's assurance. Let's read out the post for you. He says that students are top priority educationally and security-wise, so they need not worry and have their parents worried for them. The Honorable Prime Minister has tweeted, and I'm sure that he will take strict action against all those people who are responsible for this leak. So students, please go back to your parents and homes. Sonam, it's done, bro. Don't extend this. Keep the spirit for another day if there need be a need, which I doubt. And eat something. If you want, I'll send you food from home. That's Salman Khan on social media platform X. Let's quickly open this up to our guests who are joining us. Tuin Sinha, BJP's national spokesperson, is with us. Subhrashta, founder of the Churn. With us is Brajesh Kalapa, Congress spokesperson, and Pooja Mishra is Samajwadi Party spokesperson. Brajesh Kalapa, celebrities who tweeted last night like Salman Khan are now saying the Prime Minister's assurance has come. Perhaps it's time for Sonam Wangchu to call off his fast. Your response, Brajesh?
I wish the students were willing to listen to these celebrities, and I think the celebrities also, like Mr. Salman Khan, should have reached out to these students long before they were beaten black and blue. And I think celebrities have a little bit of a limited role in issues like this, because ultimately the students whom they are addressing are NEET students who are all very keen on getting into top level colleges and all that. So therefore celebrities have their limited role because they are not academics, or they are not people of who have enjoyed higher learning. Therefore their role, I think, is rather limited here. But of course, as far as the intent is concerned, that they're also expressing their anguish towards the manner in which the students have been treated. Sure, I think it's most welcome. And if the students were to listen to a celebrity like Salman Khan, why not? But it doesn't appear as if any of them is relenting on this issue. The point is that the government of the day has needled them, has beaten them black and blue, has torpedoed them, and has virtually waged war on them. And after having waged war, now to say, okay, I'm going to relent a little bit, is not going to take the matter further. If Mr. Modi was serious, I think the first thing he should have done is said that, look, we have had 152 paper leaks, and 152 paper leaks is a hell of a long thing. Okay. I just heard you saying that he has made a very strong statement that zero tolerance and so on and so forth. But he had made a very similar statement in 2023 in Rajasthan. What happened to that? So these kind of statements really actually cut no ice, because there has been too much of water that has flown under the bridge. Let me get to Tuhin of the BJP, because of course the government says that there are fast-track courts, that high courts, etc. under the aegis this would be formed. But Tuhin, Brajesh Kalapa says these sort of assurances have come out in the past. No action was taken in the past. Why should students believe them about what will happen in the future? Your response?
Well, good evening, Madhav. Good evening, everybody. I think Prime Minister Modi's assurance is very categorical, very unequivocal. I don't think ever in the past, anybody has talked about fast-tracking all cases of paper leaks across the country. If the Congress party does not want to believe it, probably they are going by their own yardstick of non-performance. But what worries me today is that Rahul Gandhi wants to reduce this entire supposed students' movement into, a Shaheen Bagh kind of protest. I am very appalled by his running to the Rajghat, because, Gandhi was an apostle of peace. Gandhi stood for non-violence. But what Rahul Gandhi... It
was Gandhi's Smriti, actually. He didn't go to Rajghat, he went to Gandhi's Smriti.
In the last few years, he has been... No, but he should not have gone there, because at the end of the day, the point I'm trying to make is that Gandhi stood for peace. He was an apostle of peace. Rahul Gandhi has been trying to provoke the country into the path of violence.
How is going to Gandhi's Smriti? One second. Tuhin, how is going to Gandhi's Smriti provoking people into violence? What is the logic there?
Exactly.
No, Madhav, like some anchors, I think you were very patient hearing me out. I said Rahul Gandhi in the last 6 years has been invoking people on the path of violence. Have you not heard his speech?
If you're making sweeping statements, Tuhin, whether you or Brajesh, all of you or anyone else on the panel will have to take counter questions. Yeah.
No, so first you hear me out, because I don't leave the scope for counter questions, because I explain things.
Carry on.
Right, I think I would be reasonably articulate.
That's because nobody dares ask the BJP a counter question.
So it's okay. Let's hear him out. Brajesh, you can also ask him a counter question. It's a fair debate. Everybody will get a turn. Allow him to make his point. Okay. Make your point.
These people have been speaking, Madhav, these people have been speaking of brute violence. Many of the Gen Z journalists are probably not aware of brute violence, but what brute violence is. But you may remember the intervening night of 4th and 5th June 2011, where sleeping protesters at Ramlila Maidan were brutally attacked by the Delhi police then. So I think, the UPA government should not talk about brute violence, because we have dealt with Rahul Gandhi's gimmicks with a lot of restraint, with a lot of patience. But please don't hijack this movement. Don't make it a slugfest. Don't make it a tug of war between Aam Aadmi Party and CJP on the one hand and between the Congress Party on the other.
Okay. Let me come in. There are many questions that arise of what Tuhin has said, but let me prima facie put the question to Brajesh Kalapa. Over here, it's a situation, he's comparing it to what happened, and I actually was there at Ramlila ground when that crackdown happened. And I think it's a fair question, because in that situation, it was peaceful protesters. They were not even sitting in protest. There was no question of any stone pelting or violence. They were peaceful protesters who the then government under the aegis of UPA, the Delhi police, cracked down upon. So if that was fair, how is this unfair is the counter question. One second, got your point, Tuhin? Brajesh, respond.
No, I'm glad the BJP spokesperson is today stating unequivocally that they are making the exact same mistakes that the UPA made in 2011, and that the outcome of 2014 is going to be what the outcome of the BJP in 2029 is. Because that is also speaking of 2011. We are also speaking of 2026. We are 3 years away from general elections. Then also it was 3 years away from general elections. The same kind of antipathy against the government probably 10 times worse, because at this time the students are the ones who are the worst affected. The BJP government at the center on 3 issues has been losing every single thing that it had. All the political capital that it had has been lost. So today the BJP spokesman is officially saying that. He's admitting to the fact that they are on a losing path. I think that's very fair of Mr. Tuhin Sinha to have admitted that.
Okay. Tuhin, let me ask you another counter question. Simple question. You heard Priyanka Gandhi as well. We just played out a soundbite. And she says the onus of running the government or running the parliament, I beg your pardon, is on the government. It's for the government to assuage the protesters, to assuage the opposition and ensure the House functions. So if there's a reason that parliament is not functioning or a debate is not happening, she is putting the onus squarely on the government. Tuhin.
Well, Madhav, have we not reached out to the protesters? We have reached out to the protesters. They had a meeting with JP Nadda G. Now, if every day, tutored by some of these opposition parties, if the demands keep, escalating, it becomes a complex situation. Now, we have been chasing the opposition. For the last 30 hours, we have been chasing this opposition. Come on the floor of the House. Let's have a debate. Madhav, you would recall, there is a similar pattern over here for the last 2 years, whether it was Manipur, whether it was the no confidence motion, whether it was Operation Sindoor, they would repeatedly give this impression that we are running away from the debate. When the debate actually happened, they didn't have much to speak. The debate went on extensively for 2 days and the opposition disappeared in the middle of it. This is precisely what is going to happen today.
Okay.
Now, I'm telling them they have some more time to prepare for the debate, and instead of making these issues, and just 1 second, Brijesh was saying we are repeating the same mistake. We are not repeating that mistake. We have dealt with Rahul Gandhi with a lot of restraint because we want to.
No, but there are police excesses. In certain situations, I admit that the lumpen elements may have entered the protesters, but the protesters also, in many situations, there are videos that show police also is performing excesses on them. Whether it is lathi charge, whether it's tear gas or pellet guns, there are enough now material over the last 3 days to show that police also has been very high-handed with these protesters.
Well, I would believe that that was done in retaliation, because at the end of the day, if you barge into parliament, where parliament is in session, that is not allowed, right? And they use tear gas shell. But if any excess is taken, which I am not aware of, I would obviously not condone that.
There is actually a visual which I had on the show yesterday of a policeman slapping a lady, and that policeman has been transferred. Nevertheless, let me come back to the issue of parliament and let me go across to the Samajwadi Party spokesperson. And Pooja, the question is this, that ultimately parliament is meant for discussion. The government is saying, come, let's have a discussion. And they are saying that why is it that opposition is tutoring these protesters? You're shifting the goalpost is what Tuhin Sinha is saying. But ultimately, why not debate this? You can even hold the education minister accountable and continue to demand his resignation if you have that discussion. Why not do that? Pooja Mishra.
Madhav, we have been doing that. Even the national president of Samajwadi Party, he was about to walk out of the parliament, and he was stopped by the chairperson of the parliament. Ambila, when asked why you are just walking out, he clearly said that resignation can be given within a tiny room. It can be given just tomorrow as well. But right now, what is important is the discussion. The discussion, what happened with the student, how the government deal with the student. There is a huge difference between what's and the action government took. So Sinha, we are making dialogue with the student. No, you are not making dialogue with the student.
Ma'am, did he not say something to the effect of Congress or BJP milega kya? Was that statement also not made on the floor of the House?
Yeah, it was said that because we didn't get time. The person from a Congress representative, he spoke, and then the representative from
the
government
speaker had
spoke.
announced it.
So definitely.
You're questioning your own alliance partner also now.
Definitely, when we will not get a time, we'll question it. That's our right. We are at the side of what should be right. We'll discuss it. And again, when the 2011 was discussed, I was just remembering I was in class 12. And I was studying in class 12 in Arunachal Pradesh. And when we got to know that this is happening, how the government is dealing with the protesters, we also bunk our whole of the school bunk one-day class, and we went for the protest. And right now, same thing is happening. The government is dealing brutally with the protesters. They are not going into dialogue with the protesters. What today is needed, the discussion about the students, the government should go into the dialogue with these protesters. What they have announced, one hand, the Pradhan Mantri is making expo that will make a fast track court.
And Pooja Mishra, we all know there was Nirbhaya protest also, and how those protests ended, similar to the Ramlila Maidan, Baba Ramdev protest, that also ended in police lathi charge. I've seen both those lathi charges physically myself. I was present when both those lathi charges happened. So there is a context to what we are talking about. But let me put this question across to Subrasha. Subrasha, two wrongs don't make a right. If the same, excess of the UPA government was there, if the NDA government does it, that certainly does not absolve anybody. But I want to ask a simple question of what Saurav Das has said of the CJP. He says the Prime Minister's statement is just a band-aid. We want Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation. Nothing less than that will do. Now, whether the opposition is egging them on, influencing them, whatever may be the political arguments, the point is these protesters are not moving. Is the government going to risk using force to remove these protesters?
So, there are two parts to this conversation, Madhav. I would respond to Saurav Das, CJP, first, and then I'll come to the other issue. Looks to assume that Saurav Das is the spokesperson of everybody who has gathered at Jantar Mantar, I don't believe in that. There are protesters who do not belong to the Cockroach Janata Party, who have genuine concerns and have come, who are net aspirants, who were net aspirants, who have not made it. Some of them have made it, but still have hit the streets. Saurav Das has no stake in any ET. Let me put it out very clearly. My question to Saurav Das is, if this is a band-aid, fast-track court, then resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan, how is it systemically changing the system? What kind of conversation does people like Saurav Das want to have? Removing one person who was eating...
they are saying it is about fixing accountability. Subrashta, you may not choose to believe Saurav Das, but at this point of time, there's nobody who represents those NEET students or the NET students that you mentioned. Their point is simple, that a person who has bungled up repeatedly, whether it is CBSE, whether it is NEET, and after having bungled up in the past and no action being taken, how do they know? Just conducting the re-NEET is not a guarantee that the same thing won't happen next year.
Madhav, this is where I have a problem. So now when we are talking about accountability, let me get to the root of the issue. In 2024, the same bill which dealt with exam leaks was discussed on the floor of the House. Did Saurav Das or Rahul Gandhi or any of this, Saurav Das put in a word to Rahul Gandhi or any of these leaders of opposition to have a say that, we need these provisions being made in the bill so that no future paper leaks happen? These guys were absent from the parliament. Rahul Gandhi was absent from the parliament. And I don't want Saurav Das to be accountable to all the, answerable to all these questions for all I care, because he doesn't understand NEET at all. My question is this: where is the conversation on system from Saurav Das and from Cockroach Janata Party? Please tell me what is going to follow up after Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation. I'm not saying don't fix accountability, of course do. But accountability will not be fixed by making a minister resign. Has Saurav Das ever accosted a bureaucrat? Has he ever raised a voice against the bureaucrat? Who are the ones who run the system, whether it's the Congress or the BJP or Samajwadi Party, whoever takes the throne tomorrow? Throne of Delhi tomorrow? But Subrashta,
by that logic, none of the ministers in UPA should have resigned. If the ministers won't take accountability, who will take accountability?
Madhav, please don't twist my words. I'm too tired.
I'm asking you. No, but the point is that if there is a lack of governance and people seek accountability, and those tens of thousands of students are there for a reason.
Since you have chosen to basically make me believe, make the viewers believe that I don't believe that accountability should happen. Let me ask you, Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation, does it assure that no paper leaks will happen in this country?
But there will be a fear of God amongst other ministers. That's what the protesters believe.
I want an assurance.
Whether these are my views or not, these are the views that the protesters, and you see them on social media, whether you agree with them or not, this is what they are expressing.
Through you, I want to raise a question to the Saurav Das's of the world. Can the CJP or the political people who have hijacked the protest, can they assure me, a citizen of this country, somebody whose daughter will take up NEET exams later on, maybe 10 years down the line, can these people assure me that Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation...
Subrashta, that's not how parliamentary democracy works. People elect a government, they elect their members of parliament, and therefore a government is formed by those legislators. People have every right to demand accountability, and this has happened on multiple occasions in the past. People have resigned on railway accidents. So are you saying Lal Bahadur Shastri is wrong? Would his resignation have fixed the railway system then?
Of course they have, Madhav. And then there are chief ministers who haven't resigned despite being put behind bars. Delhi has seen that chief minister as well. Please don't to contextualize, because I'm not a Gen Z. I'm a millennial.
That's fine. Ma'am, even I'm a millennial, but the point is we've seen all this. In fact, Nitish Kumar also resigned during Vajpayee regime. Anyway, Brajesh Kalappa, I want you to respond. How will Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation reform the system? Please respond to Subrashta.
See, the point is this, Madhav. I think you've put it very nicely, that accountability is one of the most important issues here. Now, here we have a Prime Minister who believes he has a 56-inch chest, and he does not brook or, any kind of resistance of any kind, and whatever he says is right, whatever he does is right, whatever he thinks is right. And this is the basic problem, because to a certain extent it went on all right. Here we have a Home Minister who did not resign after Pahalgam. So even in a situation like that, now after having digested that, they believe that, look, now this too can be digested. Unfortunately, the students are out in the streets. They have taken on the farmers. None of them resigned. They have taken on virtually every section of society.
But Brajesh, by that logic, I must ask you equally, between 2008 and 2012, how many blasts took place and how many ministers resigned then? If you want to seek accountability for Pahalgam, how many ministers during UPA regime didn't resign?
Yeah.
On national security or terrorism grounds?
Let me give you the list of...
on terrorism grounds. It's purely on terrorism, because you're seeking accountability on Pahalgam. So let's compare apples and apples.
Let me give you how many terror attacks have taken place after Mr. Modi has come into office, and then you will see that, then you will see what kind of, response has been there from Mr. Modi. Just give me a second.
There are bad attacks that have happened. Brajesh, if you get into numbers, BJP will say that there are far more during UPA. There were bad attacks. We never responded across the border. There are many such things that will be stated.
Fine.
Madhav, may I take 10 seconds?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's okay.
Okay, Subrashta wants to respond to you. By the time you find your facts, Subrashta will respond to you. Subrashta.
Madhav, look, we are dealing with a generation that has shown us a lot of hope. This generation has chosen to stand up against a system which has been festering for really long. All my support, and I'm sure people like us support the students who are there to fix the system. But please don't tell me that this drama of Dharmendra Pradhan resign, this drama of I'm going to, stand in front of the Prime Minister's house and not attend the parliament, this is not going to do anything. I humbly request the genuine protesters, by genuine protesters, I mean non-political protesters, to please go home.
Okay. We'll have to leave it there. I'm sorry I'm interrupting you, but we're totally out of time. I'd like to thank all our panelists, Brajesh Kalappa, Pooja Mishra, Tuhin Sinha, and Subrashta for joining us. Certainly, these are difficult questions. There are no simple answers. I certainly don't have any answers. All we can do is debate them. And we hope the matter is resolved, because those lives are very precious. We certainly hope that law and order situation in particular remains calm in the national capital, because the scenes that we've seen earlier this week have been rather unprecedented.